Kaboom, we're live. Hang on, folks. We got quite a show for you tonight. My, oh my, oh my. Do we have a lot of stuff to do tonight? And if you're watching already, then you're going to get in on everything. And, well, let me just put it this way. If you're watching this on replay, well, good for you. But we've got a lot of news to get to, so we're going to hurry things up. I'm going to make the musical introduction to the show real short tonight. I will now perform for you the theme written by Quincy Lewis. Quincy Jones. Written by Quincy Jones. The theme to the television show Ironside. Da, 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 da. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm here all week. Ooh, can you hear that? Is it still lingering on? Or is that the furnace going? Yeah, that's the furnace going. Hello, everybody. And welcome. Thank you so much for driving by and clicking that old view button. My name is Bill, and you are watching Bill's Box of Sound, where we talk about music and goings on of the week. And we do it with a slightly different point of view, but you are encouraged to ask questions in the chat room. Press the like button, which is below the screen. If you're on YouTube, that is. You may be watching this on YouTube. You may be watching it on the Twitch. But wherever you're watching, I'm glad to have you. I had a whole show planned for tonight. But we had some late-breaking news. And we've got a couple of late-breaking news things. So good evening already for Music for Freakers. I like your screen name. Chief Dancing Ostrich, always happy to see you. And Thumbfinger, the man with the iron thumb. Anyway, saw you in the chat room last night at Grown Man Record Night. And that was a lot of fun. I really like that new wide shot that Mikey has for a Grown Man Record Night. Not last night, but last week when Steve was talking all about everything that happened on his 60th birthday party. And he just had the whole room wide open. And you could see everybody in the room. It was a party atmosphere. It was like you were hanging out at Mikey Banana's house. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the name of the show that I'm talking about is Grown Man Record Night. That's the name of the YouTube channel and also the Twitch channel, Grown Man Record Night. And every Friday night, well, he streams several nights a week, but on Friday nights in particular, he starts on Twitch at about 8:30 Eastern time, plays records all the way up until about 11 p.m. Then the show starts, and show goes to about 1, 2 in the morning. Sometimes it's an open-ended show. He does everything that he has to do. And then they shut that whole mess down and they go back to Twitch. See, the main show was on YouTube and Twitch, but before show and after show, he plays records. And it's great because you get turned on to all sorts of music that you end up saying, hey, I'm interested in this and I want to go buy it. I have spent a lot of money from watching the Grown Man Record Night streams. That's good stuff there. All right. So, late breaking news. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is a momentous announcement in the world of rock and roll every year that it comes out. And what is it? Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the announcement of the nominees for the 2024 class of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, I know. It's I got the list right here, and as usual, it's full of disappointments. Good evening, DJ Trish. Good to see you. I'm going to be talking about you later on in the show. You wonderful thing, you. Pardon me. So, what's going on here? Oh, Thumbfinger. I am so jealous of you. Your Claypool box set is going to get to you next Tuesday. I want to order that thing. I am just so close to pressing the button on that and ordering that because I do have a number of those releases already on wax. Let me just show you. Let me just go into my letter C and pull out my last Claypool. Excuse me, pull out my last Claypool stuff. And well, I don't know if this one's it. I know that this album right here, Les Claypool's Flying Frog Brigade, Live Frog Set 1 and Set 2, that is in the Adverse Yaw boxed set. And I believe that also the Purple Onion album is also in that set. Now, the big disappointment with the original Purple Onion LP is that in order to squeeze all of that music onto one vinyl record, they really had to cut down on the volume and also on the bass. And wait a second, Les Claypool plays bass. So why do they cut down bass on this? So they really should have made this a 3 or 4 sided album, in my opinion. And I don't think that that this album, Les Claypool's Duo De Twang, a 4-foot shack, is in there, but I believe that the Les Claypool box set is going to have the Live Frogs. It's going to have Purple Onion. It's going to have Great Eyeball. 8 Great Eyeballs in the Sky. I think it's going to go of Whales and Woe, and also the Of Fungi and Foe. So that's 5 albums, 7 vinyl LPs altogether. And I think it's about $124 boxed set. But I'm thinking, if the only I've got 2 of those, maybe I can sell the Live Frog set and the Purple Onion after I get the box set, and maybe that can offset that a bit because these are all good records. Yeah, it's nice when somebody puts out a box set and you know that everything in it is going to be good. So yeah, very interesting. Pardon me. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, Colonel Claypool's Bucket of Bernie Brains is the new one that comes with it. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm coughing all of a sudden. I wasn't coughing before the show. Maybe it's because I'm talking too much. Maybe it's because I'm excited. But let's get back to the story and I'll start answering chats in a little bit. But we got this list here of nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I want to let you know how legitimate or illegitimate these picks are. So I'm just going to go from the first to the last one that came out on the list. So the first artist that will be nominated for the 2024 class of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum, excuse me, in Cleveland, Ohio, which is where I live, by the way, will be Mary J. Blige. No, I'm sorry. She's not rock and roll. She's hip hop and soul and R&B, okay? And she's great at that. But she's not a rocker. I don't know why they do this. Let's look at the next one, huh? We've got Mariah Carey. No, Mariah Carey is R&B and soul, pop and hip hop. You look up these names and that's what you find out about them. Pardon me. I am just so fired up and upset about this. All right. Got another female on the list. Let's see how this one turns out, okay? Next one on the list is Cher. Buzzer didn't go off. Let's say her name again. Cher. Okay, the buzzer didn't go off. You know what? She is kind of a rock performer. She did vary and waver and go into pop and disco and techno music after a while, but she has her roots in early rock and roll, especially with her beginnings with Sonny and Cher, and she's had lots of hits. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but Cher, if Cher gets in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm really not going to complain that much. Okay, so next on the list, we've got the Dave Matthews Band. There is a qualifying entry for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They've been around for 25 years or more, and they put out records, and their records are pretty much rock and roll. They kind of almost waver into the folk realm or the jam band realm. And so I think that is a solid nominee for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay, so we're doing some good things here. Next, we've got nominated for the 2024 class of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We've got Eric B. and Rakim. No, I mean, yeah, they're great, but they're not rock and roll. They are solidly rap and hip hop. Come on, Paid in Full. I mean, they're cool. They're great. They definitely rock the house, but they rock the house with rap and hip hop. Plus, I don't think that they have contributed that much to the rock and roll world. So Eric B. and Rakim, I mean, much respect to them, but they don't belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All right, who's next? We've got Foreigner. Yes, Foreigner belongs as a nominee for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, lots of rock and roll hits. Rock radio in the 70s would not have been the same without Foreigner. Cold as Ice, Feels Like the First Time, Jukebox Hero, Dirty White Boy. Hello there, Max. We've got Urgent with that fantastic sax solo by the one and only Junior Walker. You didn't know that? Yeah, Junior Walker of Junior Walker and the All-Stars does that unbelievable electronically natural saxophone solo in the song Urgent, playing saxophone in the way that only Junior Walker can. Nobody else played sax like Junior Walker. All right, so that's a good one. Coming up next, we've got Peter Frampton. Yes, that is a legitimate entry into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Peter Frampton was a member of Humble Pie for a while, and he had a string of rock and roll albums. 70s rock radio would not have been the same without Frampton Comes Alive. And Do You Feel Like We Do? Yeah. If you were around back then, you got sick of Frampton Comes Alive, but you cannot deny he is rock and roll. All right. We're doing good now. We were stalling for a while. Excuse me, but we're in good territory. Next on the list of nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we've got Jane's Addiction. Yes, very good. Jane's Addiction is a very worthy nominee for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Perry Farrell and his band given a lot to alternative rock in the 80s and the 90s. Many apologies for my coughing. I apologize. It's been that kind of weather week. But anyway, yeah, Jane's Addiction. Yeah. Without Jane Says, Been Caught Stealing. And, I think that Perry Farrell should be put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by himself for not just Jane's Addiction, but also for his band Porno for Pyros, which came after that, who also employed Mike Watt on bass, by the way. So that's cool. All right. So we're steaming along. We're rocking here for the 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees. Let's talk about Kool and the Gang. Oh, I'm sorry, Kool and the Gang. You are a rhythm and blues and a soul funk disco band. You're a band, but you're not a rock and roll band. I don't know if I can put you in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's no, I don't think so. I mean, Celebration, Ladies' Night. Oh, what a night! I'm. I just saw in the in the chat room, I'm in you. We'll be talking about Frank later on in the show, but yeah, Peter Frampton, I'm in you, you're in me. I have been in you, baby. Anyway, okay. So Kool and the Gang. No, I don't think you are a worthy rock and roll act. All right, so let's go down the list. What else we have here? We've got Lenny Kravitz. I said Lenny Kravitz. No. I don't think that's right. Check your list. Lenny Kravitz. Yes, Lenny Kravitz is a rock and roller. Yes, Lenny Kravitz is a rock and roller. I mean, you may have been thinking, since I've been talking about, Mary J. Blige and Kool and the Gang and Eric B. and Rakim, that, Bill, isn't that kind of racist not calling these people rock and roll acts? Because, they are big in the music business. Yes, they are big in the music business, but they are not rock and roll. Lenny Kravitz, however, is a rock and roll, and he injects a lot of wonderful soul into his music. I like Lenny Kravitz's stuff, and I believe he's got a new album coming out very soon as well, in the very, very near future. So yes, Lenny, Yes, you get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame if I have anything to do with it. All right. Next, we've got, from the UK, Aces. Yes, Oasis definitely is a rock and roll outfit. Yes. Don't Look Back in Anger, um, Champagne Supernova, several big hits for them. We do like Oasis, some more than others. I'm not a big Oasis fan. I got one CD of theirs, I got no vinyl by them. But yeah, Oasis, that's rock and roll. Okay, next, Sinead O'Connor. Okay. Yeah, Sinead O'Connor is in the pop realm, uh, pretty much a rock act, alternative rock act. Had her share of hits. She was not the most successful artist. She was popular. She had her fans, very rabid fans. Pardon me. Very devoted fans of Sinead O'Connor. Sinead O'Connor was a rocker in the way that she was outspoken about things that she believed in and that she thought were wrong and she had to protest against. And she passed away about a year or so ago. So yes, Sinead O'Connor, a good candidate for a nominee for the 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Next, we've got none other than Ozzy Osbourne. Yes, yes, yes. Ozzy Osbourne, he's a shoo-in. Come on. He's already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Black Sabbath. That was in 2006, I believe, that they got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But Ozzy has been a solo artist in his own right and continues to be for many, many, many years. And he's got a big string of hits on his own. He is one of heavy metal's best assets. So yeah, Ozzy Osbourne, very worthy contender for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. As a matter of fact, let's do this for Ozzy. Ozzy, come on, let's do this. Yes, for Ozzy. And coughing all over the place. Don't you just love it? Oh yeah, don't you love it? All right, two more entries. We've got the one, the only, Sade Adu. No, Sade is not rock and roll. She's much closer to smooth jazz than she is to rock and roll. She could be suggested as a pop singer, but come on, Sade is not rock and roll. Last, not necessarily least, these people were trailblazers in their own right. And well, let's just say this one. Was it A Tribe Called Quest? No, I'm sorry. A Tribe Called Quest is not rock and roll. They're definitely hip hop, hardcore hip hop, and rap. And they've got quite a good body of work under their belt, but they are not rock and roll. I don't know what the deal is. Oy! But you know what? To borrow from Sinead O'Connor, you folks know what you do. You're guilty. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is not run by the fans. It's run by large companies. Take, for example, the Dolly Parton induction of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year. Dolly Parton came out and said, hey, I appreciate the nomination and everything. I really appreciate you saying, yeah, she goes beyond nominees. We're going to put her in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. even though she's been a country and pop artist all her life. She is a legend and she's one of the nicest people on the planet. If you ask anybody who's met her, I haven't met her, but it'd be if I got the chance to meet Dolly Parton, I would not turn it down. She's supposed to be a real sweetheart, but she's not rock and roll material. Okay. Uh, but the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, even though Dolly Parton said, "Thank you, but no thank you, I am going to respectfully decline being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." The powers that be of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame said, "Sorry, Dolly, we're going to put you in anyway." So what does Dolly Parton do? She goes and records a 4-record set, a full 2 CDs, probably as much music as was in uh, Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. That much material. And she calls the album Rockstar. The album did finally get released. I didn't see it tearing up the charts. I didn't see it flying out of the record stores. And honestly, have you listened to any of the songs on the Dolly Parton Rockstar album? You can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. I'm sorry. I listened to a bunch of those songs. They just don't do it for me. So, yeah. Hello, Rick. Good to see you. And I kind of agree. It's pretty much a joke. Just the same, even though the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a joke, if you're ever in Cleveland, you have a chance to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and check it out. It's a very cool place because they do have a lot of exhibits of artists that are not in the Rock Hall, and very cool. But the thing is, Kraftwerk finally got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I believe last year. And Devo was nominated 2 years ago. Why they aren't in, I do not know. They're very, very influential. I know they didn't have the hits that some people have had, but Devo is wonderful. You know, I'm wondering why XTC never got nominated. I know they're not that popular. Maybe they're not that influential, but man, they're a great band. There's all sorts of arguments that you can make. So that's the best thing about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame list, is that you can have a lot of very serious arguments and discussions about them. So what the heck can you say? Next, we've got some sad news. We've got deaths in the music community to talk about. And first, I want to do my tribute to the first one that I'm going to talk about, and gotta get myself in here. And I was thinking of doing the whole song, but I don't want to get hit for copyright, so I'm just going to do one chorus. And it's all about losing a man among men, a madman among men who made a lot of really cool music. He really rallied against the crazy people like Dr. Laura and the people who wanted to do drug testing, people who wanted to keep marijuana illegal, and people like that. But most of all, his first big hit was a song about the king. You know what I'm talking about. When I see people, I look in their eyes and I see Elvis in them, because, well, Elvis is everywhere. Elvis is everything. Elvis is everybody. Elvis is still the king. And oh man, I want you to see that the big E's in you and me. Woo! Yes. Yes, folks. Mojo Nixon has passed away. I forget exactly how old he was. I think he was in his late 60s or 70s. No, he was in his 70s, I'm pretty sure. Ah, I gotta grab a tissue on that one. Woo! So, oh yeah, Mojo Nixon, pictured here on the cover of the Bodacious album by Mojo Nixon. That's him on the left and Skid Roper on the right, upside down. And that was the album that Elvis is Everywhere came from. And he did songs like Louisiana Lip Lock, Debbie Gibson is Pregnant with My Two-Headed Love Child, uh, all sorts of great songs. And he was immortalized by the Dead Milkmen in their song Punk Rock Girl, where they say, if your store ain't got Mojo Nixon, then your store could need some fixin'. Once again, I can't apologize enough for all of this coughing I'm doing. Maybe I should have a phlegmondectomy. Get that out of here. But oh yes, and good old stuffing Martha's muffin. Hey, you big Zappa fans, if you've been watching those videos from the Poodle Bites with the name that Zappa song, the most recent one had a little clip of Martha Quinn in there, and I thought, oh, Martha Quinn, oh, be still my beating heart. She was so hot. What can I say? All right, let's see. And people are are putting their comments in about people that really do belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So yeah, why don't we put Mojo in the Hall of Fame? That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, Mojo passed away. I think he died in his sleep. He was on the Outlaw Country Cruise. He had performed a whole show the night before. Rocked it out with friends and fans in the bars afterwards. Had a great breakfast that next morning, and I guess he went to take a nap, and he died in his sleep. So sorry to hear about Mojo. Okay, and I'm sure all of you have heard about the passing away of Toby Keith. Now, I'm not a country music fan, but I did know a couple of Toby Keith songs. Back when I was in a cover band called Monkey Call, we covered the songs I Love This Bar and Red Solo Cup. Good songs by him. Toby Keith died of stomach cancer. And sorry to hear about him. A lot of people liked him a lot. So rest in peace, Mr. Keith, Toby. And what I heard about just before we went to air this evening, this is sad news for progressive music fans. Damo Suzuki, the lead singer on the albums by Can, we've got Tago Mago, we've got Ejbam Yasi, and of course, Future Days, all featuring the vocals of Damo Suzuki. After he left Can, he went on to form several bands of his own, and he had been performing right all the way through until the end. So sorry to hear about the passing of Damo Suzuki. He died of colon cancer. And let's see, he was how many years old? He was 74 years old when he passed away. So sorry to hear about Damo Suzuki. Hey, Shane Rocky, how you doing? Hello, Alembic 65. Hello, Yordism. And other people. All right. So sorry to hear about that. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is some podcasts. Podcasts, they're free to listen to. It's cool entertainment, and there's stuff all over the place. Oh, hey, we've got a good friend here. We've got Mr. Devo Obsesso himself, Michael Pilmer. Hello, Michael. Good to see you. Good to see you in the what they call a peanut gallery, but it's just the chat room. And he has a live stream every Thursday night. It's 2 hours long. I usually miss it, but I try to catch the playback afterwards. And oh yeah, he did a really cool feature of my album by Spudlock. Yes, that's right. This album is available. It's just such a convenient time for us to do the commercial right now. If you don't have this album, you really should get it. It's only $20. You can get it on Bandcamp, and I usually send you something extra when you buy this album. So this is cool stuff. You can go to a spudlock.bandcamp.com. There, let me put this up there for you to show you, and you can get your own Spudlock album. Now, this album's been out for over half a year now, and I remember when Derek Higgins started selling his records through his YouTube channel many years ago. And he would come on with his daily videos. And Derek would just pound it into your face over and over again. This is a good album. You should buy it. I don't know why people aren't buying this record. Come on, buy it. And I was thinking, man, will you stop, Derek? But you know what? I eventually went and I bought his albums. I've got several Derek Higgins albums up there on the shelf. I even bought the Indreama album that he put out, and I've bought a couple of his digital only albums as well. And speaking of digital albums with Derek Higgins, his old band Digital Sex, he just released an online album of rarities of the band Digital Sex that he was in a long time ago. That's on Bandcamp as well. But you know what? When I was getting ready to put this album out, people were saying, Bill, you're putting out a record? Oh man, that's fantastic. I support people in the vinyl community. I want to get that album when it comes out. Now, it took almost a whole year for that record to come out. But once it came out, I didn't get anywhere near the amount of response that I thought I was going to get for it. Lots of people who had voiced their support and said they were going to buy my album before have been silent. Now, I'm not going to go up to anybody in particular and say, "Hey, I remember when I was getting ready to put out my record that you said you would buy a copy. So why don't you just go ahead and buy a copy, huh? What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? What do you say?" No, that's rude. But I'm not forced anybody to buy this album. And you know what? I've still got a lot of them left, but the day will come when people will notice how good this record is. It's not your normal rock and roll record. It's a little weird, a little funny, but it does rock. And don't expect expert playing all over the place on this record, but expect a good time. That's because I put this album together. I recorded it about 30 years ago, and when I got it back together about a year and a half ago to prepare it for release, I listened to it again. I hadn't listened to it for a while. And I said, you know what? This album really does hold up. A lot of people can't stand their own music, but I really like this. So I'm glad I put it out. So I'm not ashamed about saying that. And yes, people have been buying it digital. Thank you, Chief Dancing Ostrich. I know that Shane Rocky has gotten it. I know that who else? Pilmer's got a copy of it that I sent him. And there's lots of people who are weekly viewers of the Bill's Box of Sound live stream that we are watching right now. So that's the commercial for the Spudlock album. Go to spudlock.bandcamp.com and get yours today. Now back to the news. Okay. I want to talk about podcasts. Let's go over to here and check this out here. I love this podcast. It's called The Album Years, and it is hosted by wait a second here. I have a little visual aid that I wanted to put up here. Oh yes. It's hosted by Stephen Wilson and Tim Bowness. Now, together, they are part of the group No Man. But Steven Wilson is much, much more popular for being part of the band Porcupine Tree, and he's also a solo artist. Also, if you are a Steven Wilson fan, you might want to check out the most recent issue of Stereophile magazine because it's got a full article, a 2-page article. Yeah, a 2-page article, an interview with him, lots of print, a lot of good stuff. So check it out. Stephen Wilson in the latest issue, the March issue of Stereophile magazine. It's on your newsstand. You might want to pick that up if you are a Stephen Wilson fan. But what the album years is two musicians, two friends, two music fans. They pick a year and they talk about the albums of that year. And uh, it is a lot of fun. They go through different genres of music and talk about what were the good albums, what were the bad albums, what are the albums that we want to avoid, what are the albums that we really like, albums that came out and we kind of ignored when they first came out, but now we love them. That's what this podcast talks about. So that's the name of it, The Album Years with Stephen Wilson and Tim Bowness. I hardly recommend it. They just got done with doing like 4 or 5 or more episodes all about the year 1977. A great year for music. Check that out. Okay, next up we've got, there is a podcast called Caro Pop. And this guy interviews lots of people in the entertainment industry. And if you're a regular listener to Hero Pop, you know that he is a big fan of XTC. He has interviewed Andy Partridge. He has interviewed Dave Gregory. He has interviewed Terry Chambers. But he just completed a 2-episode interview with Colin Moulding, that guy right there. The other guy who wrote songs in XTC and wrote a lot of their hits. He's still around. He's not as active as he was when he was with XTC, but he still has a lot to say about his music, and a fun interview. I'm not a big fan of Caro Pop's interviewing style, and I especially can't stand the beginning of the show where he starts telling you who he's going to interview, and then he goes through basically a whole review of all the questions he's going to ask him. And it's like, I don't need to know that stuff. I don't need to hear these questions twice. I just keep on hitting the 30-second forward button until I hear the interviewee's voice. Then I back it up one, and then I listen to it. And it's usually a good show. But he definitely needs severe editing. But just the same, this episode with Colin Moulding, it's a good one. Now, there's another podcast that I like to listen to, and I talk about it a bit on this show. And by the way, we've got so much news that we are definitely going to go over. So notify the affiliates. The news is going to be late tonight. Okay. The next podcast I want to talk about is called the Bob Lefsetz podcast, Lefsetz. And he usually talks to people in the music business. He had a great interview with Burton Cummings of the Guess Who, as I told you a few weeks ago. And he recently had a really good episode with Christopher Cross. Yes, Christopher Cross, the guy who did, it's right here. Yeah, I got the album. This is the album that sold a bajillion copies. Christopher Cross, this was produced by Michael Omartian, guy who appears on a lot of Steely Dan records. And also, if you are a big YouTuber, there was an interview with the producer Michael Omartian on Rick Beato's channel that you really got to check out. He plays a lot of Steely Dan stuff, and he talks a lot about this album because when Christopher Cross got his record contract and they put together this album, he says, I want this to be just like a Steely Dan album. And you know what? Aside from the fact that a lot of these songs were big radio super hits, it does sound a lot like a Steely Dan album. So if you are a fan of Steely Dan and you never really listened to this album with a serious ear, check it out. This album, you can probably find this in the used bins for a buck or $2 or $3. But this album is excellently recorded and it's not all that bad. So I recommend it. Now, getting back to the Bob Lefsetz podcast, the episode that just dropped about a day or so ago is with Robert Fripp and his manager, which I keep on forgetting his name. Hold on a second here. Let me look it up here. Let's just type in Robert Fripp's manager. And that would be David Singleton. That's the other guy that you see there. So that's a picture of Robert Fripp and David Singleton. And they're on the Bob Lefsetz podcast. And this episode is almost 3 hours long. And it's fantastic. He talks all about Robert Fripp growing up, learning how to play the guitar, early days of him making music, the days of Giles, and Fripp, the early days of King Crimson, and then the whole stretch of time with King Crimson. Now I got the hiccups. But then he talks about Robert's recent success with his wife Toya doing these Robert and Toya Sunday brunches where they come on and they play classic tunes like they play Smoke on the Water, or they'll play what song, a Pat Benatar song, and it's hilarious because Robert Fripp, the iconic master guitar player from King Crimson, playing these rock and roll songs. Turns out he's a fan of a lot of different music. And Toya, his wife, has talked him into this, and they're an internet sensation. He talks all about that. He also talks about his wonderful temper and his wonderful behavior, and also the fight to make sure that the living members of King Crimson get money that is owed to them for what the music business has done to them over the many, many years. Very highly recommended. It's, like I said, almost 3 hours long. Check it out. And yes, there is a movie called In the Court of the Crimson King. It's a documentary about the band King Crimson in their various incarnations, but mostly in their last incarnation, which I wanted to see, but it didn't get a chance to. But yeah, check it out. Bob Lefsetz podcast. Let's see, what else do I have to talk about here? Oh yeah, speaking of Smoke on the Water, you see this thing here? Now, strangely enough, this is Zappa related news. Why do we say that? It's because there is a super deluxe box set coming out of Deep Purple's album Machine Head. Yeah, now this is a classic album. It's 50 years old this year, and they're coming out with a super deluxe box. Let me get the information on it here. Where was I? Let me just go back in my history here and find it. Here we go. All right, the Machine Head Super Deluxe 3 CD and LP and Blu-ray set, okay? So what's going to happen is inside of this box set, which is going to cost like about $80, they are going to be highlighting several different versions of the album, and there's going to be a new stereo mix and new surround sound and Dolby Digital 5.1 and Dolby Atmos immersive mixes of this album, mixed by none other than Dweezil Zappa. There's also the 1974 quadraphonic mix and a newly remastered version of the original album are in the package. And there's also two live performances. First one recorded in 1972 at the Paris Theatre in London, and that was on the Machine Head tour. And also April 1971 at the Montreux Casino in Switzerland, which is where the Smoke on the Water thing happened. Now, if you are a Frank Zappa fan, you know that the song says Frank Zappa and the Mothers. And the reason about that is during Frank Zappa and the Mothers' performance at the Montreux Jazz Festival in 1971, some stupid with a flare gun burned the place to the ground. Somebody was shooting flares and the place caught on fire. As a result, the Mothers lost most of their instruments and they had to get all new instruments loaned to them for subsequent concerts. It was a very dark time in the Mothers. And the first concert at the Rainbow Theater was immortalized. Give me a minute here. On. I know I've got it here. Yes, here it is. I just didn't pull it out ahead of time. This Rainbow Theater set, okay? But that is not specifically what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the fact that there's this Deep Purple album that is remixed by Dweezil Zappa. I can't wait to hear it. Of course, $80 is a lot to pay, but for all the stuff that you're getting, and Rhino has really been putting a lot of love into their re-releases. So I just may very well get this thing. So that's pretty awesome. And also, news and the word around the campfire is that Dweezil Zappa is planning on a tour that is probably going to start in August of next year. Very, very excited about that. What else do we have here? Yesterday was the 54-year anniversary of the release of this album, Burnt Weenie Sandwich. This is a great album. If you don't already have it and you're a Zappa fan, you owe it to yourself to pick it up. Yes, indeed. Burnt Weenie Sandwich. It is a tasty little sucker. And I wanted to talk about Frank Zappa cover bands briefly. And once again, if you're tuned in, stay tuned in because this is going to go past 11 o'clock. Recently, I saw an ad for a Zappa cover band that is going to be playing in the near where I live. Okay, and I'm not going to tell you the name of this band because I don't want to give them bad publicity. But as I am a very big Zappa fan, and I'm involved a little bit in the Zappa community. You see that right up there? Okay. And I also contribute to the production of the official Frank Zappa podcast, the Zappa Cast. Hello, Scott. Hello, Joe. I am interested in the performance of Zappa's music because Zappa's music has got to stay alive, and it always will be. So I found out that this band was going to be playing. So I said, I wonder if they're any good because I've seen several Frank Zappa cover bands in my lifetime, but I've only seen one that really cuts the mustard. And you know who that is. Yep. Dweezil Zappa's band is the only band that comes even close to the precision and also putting the eyebrows on the music that Frank demanded from his musicians. You know, that band really does the music justice. Dweezil Zappa's band. But any other band, for the most part, well, the Zappa band comes awfully damn close as well. But you got to you got to consider you've got Mike Keneally, you got Bobby Martin, you got Scott Tunis, you got Ray White, um, and for a short time they had Ed Mann, and of course the Vaultmaster Joe Travers on drums. That band, razor sharp, wonderful. So anyway, I went searching on the net for information about this Zappa cover band that is coming to my area. And I found some videos and I found out some things about their history. Band's been around for 10 years or so. So I'm thinking, oh, if these guys been playing Zappa music for 10 years, they must be pretty good. So I started listening to some videos. I clicked on these videos, started listening to them, see how well they play Frank Zappa's material. And I was not impressed. It was really sloppy. Um, the rhythms weren't right. The notes were kind of there, but they weren't all in the right places. A lot of the lyrics were wrong, and I mean, these folks put in secret words and changed the lyrics a little bit, but they were still like just not right there. So as a result, yeah, and I was looking at the age of this video. Oh wait, this video is like 7 years old. Well, come on, they've been playing for many years. They got to be good by now. So I searched more, and I found where just a few months ago they were playing some other club. So I clicked on that, and started listening to it, and you know what? They really have not improved, and that's sad. I mean, when I see a drummer playing Frank Zappa music, and I see mistakes that I would never make in a million years because I'm a drummer. You know, I would be able to take over his seat and play drums and sing and be much more exact to the music and put the right sort of English or non-English on the tunes that a drummer should. I've seen there was like another Zappa cover band that came around in the Cleveland area, and they're pretty popular for playing Zappa covers. And these guys were good musicians, but it seemed like every single person in the band it was their own personal mission to show how fantastic they were and to fit as many notes into a measure as they possibly could. And it no. Sometimes it's not about how fast it is. It's just about how right it is and how the spirit of it is. So, if you are interested in going to see a Zappa cover band, do your research beforehand because you might pay some money and be very disappointed. That's what I'm going to say about that. All right. More things. Yeah, did you just see that little thumbs up thing that came? Now what? If I do that, a thumbs down will come up on the screen. Right? Right? Thumbs down? Thumbs down? Thumb, eh, thumbs up. I can see thumbs up. Will that show? Nope. I know that if I do this, it'll give hearts, and I'll send hearts out to all of you folks. Peace and love to everybody. All right. But this show is not over, even though it's 8 minutes past the hour. We got more stuff to talk about. Yes. Now, one of my favorite saxophone players is Sonny Rollins. Yeah, this is a great album. There is, I mean, there is it's just star-studded lineup on this. I mean, J.J. Johnson on trombone, Sonny Rollins, of course, on tenor sax, Horace Silver on piano, Thelonious Monk on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, Art Blakey on drums. And let's see, does this talk about the song Mysterioso? Because on the song Mysterioso, both Horace Silver and Thelonious Monk play piano. It's like Horace Silver starts out, and then while somebody's taking a solo, he gets away from the piano, and Thelonious Monk sits down, and the next piano solo that comes in, you hear it. It's Thelonious Monk all the way. Good stuff. Also, I love this album, Way Out West on Contemporary, and also on the Prestige label, Saxophone Colossus. Oh my God, what a great trio record. Well, there is going to be a new reissue coming out. And if you are a new jazz collector or even a guy who's been collecting forever, don't go away, Chief Dancing Ostrich. This show is nowhere near complete. Anyway, there's an album slated for release called Live at the Village Vanguard. Now, this is an old album that came out many years ago, and it was one of the first jazz albums that was recorded live at the Village Vanguard. What they are doing, Joe Harley is supervising, and Kevin Gray is doing the lacquers. They're going to be releasing the complete sessions for the Live at the Village Vanguard album by Sonny Rollins. And it's going to be a 3-record set with an expanded, it's going to have a gatefold. It's going to have a booklet with all sorts of essays in it. That's coming out near the end of March. I can't wait for this. I'm going to push the click button on that. I'm gonna pull that lever and pay for that sucker. I can't wait for that to come out. So a little bit of jazz music for you. And I did get a new album this week. I'm just gonna pull it out here. If you're a fan of stoner rock, oh man, this new album, Ilion by Slift. This album kicks butt. All right, it kicks ass. What do you say? Oh, what a great album. And check out the inside of it. Woo-hoo-hoo! This is heavy, heavy, heavy rock and roll, stoner rock, psychedelic rock, but practically progressive, intense use of odd meters and subliminal synthesizers. It's a very cool 2-record set. I would recommend listening to it online before purchasing it. The album is printed on red and black marbled vinyl, and very good sound for a colored vinyl record. It's a 2-record set on the Sub Pop label. Very heavy music, and the band looks like this when they're playing, so they're pretty heavy. It's a 3-piece band, but they do have some synthesizers and some additional vocals in on the record. Very happy with that, and so I would recommend that. Let's see. Let's answer a couple of questions from the chat room, and then we're going to get to some random 45s. What do you say? Okay, let's go back here. Let's see. Not sure about Criss Cross, but that cover resonates here in part. Oh, yeah, the Pink Flamingos. I see that. Let's see. The new Crimson documentary is on Canopy, whatever that is. I think it was also on Amazon Prime for a while. Now, you think that Dweezil lacks the eyebrows? Yeah, I don't know. I beg to differ. Dweezil knows what he's doing, and if he comes around and he comes anywhere near me, I'm going to go see him again. He's fantastic. And let's see, ZPZ with Joe Travers is #1, needed on Blu-ray. Yeah. All right, let's check out some more things here. Let's see. The best Zappa Plays Zappa tour was the first tour. Was that was probably talking about the one with special guest Terry Bozzio, Napoleon Murphy Brock, and Steve Vai, all on the same stage in one night. That was fantastic. And yeah, Joe Travers is a great drummer and a cool guy too. And let's see what else. Oh, hello, Paul. Yes, I'm doing well. You digging lots of 10cc and Coil. Coil's pretty cool, and I love 10cc as well. Let's see what else we got here. One of the few jazz greats I caught live with Sonny Rollins last time he was in Cleveland at Severance Hall. Man, that must have been awesome. Let's see. What is your guess on the next FZ release? Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I count on the Vaultmeister, Joe Travers, as a friend, but he's very tight-lipped. He will not tell us what the next release is going to be. When it's official, when they have a release date, they're going to let the world know. And I'm ready for whatever it is, but I'm not completely sure what the next one will be. Um, I, I can't even venture a guess. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, and Rick also agrees that that Music for Freakers is right about the eyebrows, but Dweezil's band did make the music more accessible. Okay, whatever. So let's see here. What else? Let's see. Canopy is a free to watch with your library card app. Oh, okay. So go to your local library and you should be able to sign up for Canopy. And that's very, very cool. All right. So let's go to the next things on here. Um, DJ Trish, I don't know if you're still in the building, but I received your package. I can't show you the front of it because it's got my address on it, but I am friends with DJ Trish. She sent me new mixes of music. She does that. She does this for people just out of the goodness of her heart. This is why I call her the love goddess of the vinyl community. And this is cool here. Nothing but oldies. And speaking of nothing but oldies, I recently I'm going to send you a CD here, 45 Party, which is stuff recorded directly off of 45s. It's a mixtape on a CD. It's a lot of fun. Also, thank you so much for the stickers you sent, especially the band stickers. Those are going to be cool. I'm going to put at least a couple of those on one of my record boxes. So that's what's going in. Yeah, the package did come and it's here. The package is here. I got it. I got it. I'm checking it out. Checking it out. All right. Okay, we've been here for an hour and 7 minutes. This is going to end up probably being the one of the longest, if not the longest, Box of Sound live stream. And we've got more random 45s. One of the reasons why I'm showing all these random 45s is because I recently came into possession of a lot of 45s. I'm keeping a few of them, but most of them I'm going to be giving away to some friends of mine. But I want to show these to you because these are fun. So let's check out this little stack of 45s right here, and then we will end the show. So let's check this out here. Never heard of this one. Susie Allenson, produced by Ray Ruff. And it looks like the A side is We Belong Together. Anybody ever heard of this person? Susie Alexander. The flip side of it was I Don't Want to Cry Anymore. Never heard of that. So let's go ahead and put that on the pile. We see. Next, we've got Bill Anderson. Oh, looks like this pile is pretty much all the letter A. It's got Bill Anderson with what's the name of that song? It's Joanna. And then there's another 45 in here called Double S by Bill Anderson. Never heard of him. Oh, however, I have heard of this song because I beg your pardon. I Never Promised You a Rose Garden by Lynn Anderson. And the flip side is Nothing Between Us. And yes, it's a Columbia record that's in a capital sleeve. What can you do about that? Okay, next on the RCA label, we've got Paul Anka. Oh, it looks like we've got several Paul Ankas coming up here. All right, so we've got Give Me Back My Heart, backed with Eso Beso. Don't know what that is. Let's see. Two more. Wait, yeah, two more Paul Anka records here. Let's see. We've got Love Me Warm and Tender, backed with I'd Like to Know. We've got, let's see, Cinderella, backed with Kissin' on the Phone by Paul Anka. Ooh. Let's see here. And I will be getting to your chats also once I'm done with these random 45s here. So keep on yakking away in the chat room. I love it. Two more Paul Ankas. We've got, let's see. Oh, and they call it Puppy Love. And we've also got My Hometown. So, man, lots of Paul Anka. Whoever had this dug herself some Paul Anka. Or himself. One more Paul Anka. We've got Let the Bells Keep Ringing, backed with Crazy Love. Here's an oddity on the Disneyland record label. This is by Annette. I'm guessing Annette Funicello with Tall Paul. And the flip side is called Ma, He's Making Eyes at Me. Very amusing. Okay. Now, one of the bands that Robert Fripp talks about on the Bob Left Sets podcast is Black Oak, Arkansas. And I thought about it when I saw this record because this is by Anne Margaret. Yes, the actress. She was a pop singer. We got the song Jim Dandy. Go, Jim Dandy, go. Let's see. And I was only kidding. And also in here is the song here, I Just Don't Understand. And the flip side is I Don't Hurt Anymore. Well, it's good to know that you're being open about your emotions, Ms. Ann Margaret, and putting them on record. Next up, I've never heard of this. What's the A side of this? This is Rayburn Anthony with Shadows of Love, backed with Fire in the Night. Never heard of these records, man. Let's see, we got the Bunny Hop by the Appletons. The Applejacks. There we go. And the flip side is Night Train Stroll. This is on the Cameo label. Cameo. Oh, one of the coolest and one of the creepiest songs ever released in the world. Cherish by the Association on the original Valiant Records. And the flip side is Don't Blame It on Me. I got several albums by the Association. They were a pretty cool band. And oh man, guess what? We just got rickrolled. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. And if you think that's bad, on the flip side, you got the instrumental. Da, 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 ba, 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 ba. Good old Rick Astley. You cannot escape Rick Astley. All right. Next, we've got Diane by The Bachelors on what is the name of this label? London Records. Man, that's an ancient London record label. Looks nothing like what the London record label looked like when the Rolling Stones put out their songs on it. All right, just a few left. Ooh, this is cool. Oh, yeah. Little Green Bag by the George Baker Selection. Remember this from Reservoir Dogs? Yeah. And the flip side is Pretty Little Dreamer. This is a great, great tune. Oh, yeah. Oh, and this is a picture sleeve as well. There's two records in here. Now, look, we got the picture sleeve for Let It Be and You Know My Name, Look Up the Number. This is one of the last Beatles singles. And inside, we've got the Let It Be and You Know My Name, Look Up the Number single. But also inside of there, we've got all 7 minutes and 11 seconds of Hey Jude and Revolution. This is the very first release on the Apple record label, if I'm not mistaken. So very cool that those two records excuse me, were were inserted into there. Back to the Beatles, more. We've got the Ballad of John and Yoko, and I know what the flip side is, Old Brown Shoe, George Harrison song. Ah, more good Beatles. We got Get Back and Don't Let Me Down, double A side by the Beatles on Apple. I love those sleeves. And last, but definitely not least, we've got Rod Stewart. And what's the hit here? Oh, here it is. The final acclaim. You're in my heart, you're in my soul. Yes, flip side is You Got a Noive. All right, back to the chat room. What's going on here? Let's see. I was just talking to a friend of mine about how he would love an expanded release of Bongo Fury. Would be nice to have a release of the full shows. Well, I'm guessing that when that happens, and I have no idea if that will ever happen. It'll probably depend on the condition of the tapes and also how much stuff Frank actually mixed for that album. I don't know if he intended to make it a double album or not. We're going to have to get the Vaultmeister back on here and grill him for some more answers, but he's very tight-lipped, and rightly so. Yeah, he's under a lot of legal obligation to only divulge such information. So I hurry up and wait is the way it's been for Zappa fans forever. Okay, what else we got here? Let's see. Bill Anderson. Oh, back to the 45s was a country guy who was associated with the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville. Very cool. And let's see. With the Paul Anka, please not, you're having my baby. All right, Thump Finger. He's out of here. Have a good night, man. Thanks for the video and having a place to hang for the evening. My pleasure. Fantastic. And of course, I would not having Walk Like a Panther. Are you, oh, really? Okay. Talking about LL Cool J. Anyway, I'll think about it. We'll see what happens. And Greg here is saying what? I'm looking forward to the long promised Halloween 78. Huh. Well, what wasn't there already a 1978 Halloween album? No, there was a 73, there was an 81, there was a 77. No, depends on the condition of the tapes. What can you say? All right. Rick Astley recorded a Walk Like a Panther a few years ago. I don't know if I've got that or not. So yeah, you're right, Greg. You caught me on that one. Yeah, Halloween 78 has not been released as one of those super box sets. All right, folks. I'm gonna make some noise. I'm gonna get out of here. Stay tuned for your local news, except on the West Coast. Next week, if I am here, I'll probably be on at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time for you folks in Wyoming. And I'm going to make some noise. Also, quick note to Paul Ayers. He said that he really liked the improvisation at the end of last week's show, and he wanted to know if it's going to be on the next Spudlock album. You know what? With the way this Spudlock album is selling, if there is another Spudlock album, it's probably going to be digital only. But I'd love to put out more records in the future. We'll see what happens. Have a good night. Love all of you folks. Thank you for stopping by. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Let's make some noise. That's it, folks. Take care of yourselves. Have a great week. Happy Valentine's Day. And if you're into it, have fun watching the Super Bowl commercials tomorrow. All right, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm gone! Gone! Out!